this video, we will take a look at some of the new features and improvements in InstaMAT in the July update 2026. And I want to start with the Mesh Bake Light node. It got a few nice improvements. So for example, we can now use an IBL instead of just lights. Now let's take a look how this works. In order to use the Mesh Bake Light node on the mesh, just go to the mat library and search for Mesh Bake Light. And now you can either drag and drop it onto the mesh or onto the layer stack. Doesn't really matter, so I just drop it here. And we have to set up a few mandatory things. So at first we need to change the projection mode to UV. Then let's go to the layer channels and to base color. And then let's use the Mesh Bake Light output as our base color. So now that we are set up, let's go here to the layer element settings. And at first I want to reduce the specular white, as I don't want to see it here in this case. I want to disable this point light. And in order to use an IBL, just go to image-based lighting, enable environment. And as you can see, we have a few settings here now. So at first we can choose the environment mode between pre-computed and input map. The pre-computed one will need an radiance and irradiance map, while the input map will just use your regular HDRI. You can also set the quality. I stay with medium for now. Then under environment map, when clicking on that icon here, you can choose your environment map. Those are the ones built into InstaMAT. And I choose this one. You can also choose whatever you want, but you can also import your custom ones, so you can use those as well. But for now, let's use this one. And as you can already see, we have quite a nice light response here. But we can bump up the brightness a bit. Like this maybe. And we can also adjust the rotation. And that's basically the trick. You have now baked in your IBL onto your base color. So let's reset. Another cool thing is you can use the Mesh Bake Light node as a mask. So let's maybe delete that and add a new element layer. I go for a stylized concrete material. I choose stylized because I think such a baked-in light are especially useful and nice for stylized assets. So we have now our concrete material applied here. I go to my Add Mask button, then to pick from library, and I choose Mesh Bake Light. So it's here, I double click. And as you can see, we have the same setup. Let's reduce the specular white. Let's go to lights and disable the point light. And yeah, same as before, just go to image-based lighting, enable environment and choose your IBL. In this case, I go to input map again and choose this one. I like this one quite a lot. And easy as that, you can bake in your light or use your Mesh Bake Light as a mask. So now let's take a look how we can compute the radiance and irradiance map. Because I think in most cases people will just have their regular HDRI. But to make this a bit faster, we're going to compute a radiance and irradiance map. And you can do that straight in InstaMAT. So let's change to the element graph. And let's use an HDRI from the library here. So I use the same one. And you can just use HDRI convolute. And this will output a radiance and an irradiance map. And you could just export them and then import them back and use them for your Bake Light node. And of course, you can use the Mesh Bake Light node in the element graph as well. So we'd input a mesh here. Let's just do it. So I have my mesh here. Let's just use it here. And then let's change to environment. Use our irradiance and radiance. Or the other way around. Now I can preview the mesh here. And this as, for example, my base color. So let's take a look at one of the other new nodes. Let's quickly delete that. And it's the Mesh Bake to Vertex colors. And this node will bake mesh map attributes into mesh vertex colors. So for example, when I input this as target and source, and then preview this with mesh vertex colors, you can see this baked the AO map into the vertex colors. I can change that to normal tangent or normal world, curvature, thickness, and yeah, way more options. So this is nice when you want, for example, use the vertex colors as a mask. You can use it like this, or to just have your maps baked into the vertex colors. Let's create a new element graph and let's take a look at some of the other new nodes or improvements. So for example, for the tile scatter, now when you go to pattern, under mode, we choose image, and let's increase the count to maybe 2. And now I can use the distribution mode tile number, and let's make a nice preview. So I use a few text nodes. Let's use 1, 2, and 3. Let's bump up the count to 3. And maybe also the count here. Let's maybe use 10. And let's set it to grayscale. Now I input the 1 into 1, 2 into 2, and 3 into 3. Let's preview that. And let's get rid of the orientation variance and the offset variance. And let's actually make it a bit bigger. And this mode will distribute the inputs alternating. So we have input 1, input 2, input 3, and then it starts again with input 1, input 2, and input 3. And we can bump this up to 9 inputs. Let's go back to 3. So this is really nice for materials like, for example, you want to create a chainmail or stuff like that. Then we have another new nice node. It's the normal to curvature smooth. And this node will create a cleaner, broader curvature map, and it makes it ideal for procedural masks such as edge wear, dirt buildup, or highlighting edges and crevices. And compared to the regular curvature node, the curvature smooth node produces a softer, less noisy result by averaging and smoothing the curvature information. So maybe we can just compare that. It's normal to curvature. So this would be the curvature map for the InstaMAT icon with the default curvature node. And this would be the smooth one. And we have a few settings like the offset. So we can also adjust it to your liking. You can normalize it. And what I like to use it for, I like to blend it over materials, over the base color. So when I create a material, this is often one of the final passes for my base color. I just blend it and overlay it. And it makes the materials pop a bit. So it's a quite nice addition. And let's go back to our layering project. There are also a few improvements to the viewport. We can now slow down the zooming and the panning. So the initial functionality is like this. And when I press Ctrl, it will zoom slower. This is nice when you want to go closer to your mesh. This is also true for panning. So this would be the slow pan. And when I let go of Ctrl, we have the regular panning speed. We can now also set a focus point. So when I press and hold Alt and press my right mouse button, you can see we have a focus point here, a preview. And when I now rotate the camera, you can see it rotates perfectly around the focus point. When I set it to here, it rotates perfectly here or here. And when you let go of Alt, you can preview it by pressing the space button. We have now also a camera roll. So when you hold your right mouse button and press R, it will roll in one direction. And when you press T, it will roll into the other direction. What's also new, we have a few new settings for the paint projector. So let me add a multi-channel brush quickly. And let's just use a decal. So when I now turn on my paint projector, it's the usual paint projector. and nothing really changed, but we have a new menu here. So when I open this up, I can adjust my opacity and also the painting opacity. So when I bump this, let's set it to 0. When I now paint, the paint projector isn't visible anymore. And I can bump it up to like 100%. So it will be even more visible, but that's not really practical. So let's bump up the opacity here to maybe 70 and this down to 30. So this is your preview. And when you paint, you have a lower opacity. And then we can also clamp it or rotate. And when you want to scale it, you hold R and your left mouse button and just move your mouse down or up. And for the next feature, I quickly load up a new mesh. Okay, so I loaded in a new mesh and we now have this show active material only button. So when I press this, it will only show the active material here. So when I change that, for example, it shows a different part. And we can always turn that on and off. And I think this feature makes texturing way easier because you won't have anything in the way if you don't want to have it. And there's also a few other things to mention, like InstaMAT got quite a lot of nice performance gains, especially when you rebake a UDIM mesh, the files will be saved way faster than before. And there are also quite a lot of new materials. So let's take a look. Especially those human skin materials are quite nice. And there are quite a lot of them with different skin tones, different details. And for different body parts, like this one is for an ankle. These are just skin bumps. This is for cheeks. And there's also quite a nice generic one. So let's open that up maybe. It's this one. So as you can see, it has nice details, and as with all of the materials, you have quite a lot of settings, like you could add some flags or veins and red spots and different other stuff. This is quite gross, but interesting. So I think this is especially great for character artists that need skin materials. And let's take a look at some of the other ones. We have some ancient Greece themed ones, like this pottery here, which looks quite nice. Or new wood materials, which are also based on Greek references. And tiles or pavements. Then we have Japanese themed materials, like a rooftop or ceiling. And I think there's a shoji wall or door as well. And tatami mats. Let's enable tessellation. Or bump up the level. And in case you're wondering why I didn't mention UV painting here, we have a whole dedicated video on that, so check that out as well. Alright, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.
If you enjoyed this video, drop us a comment below and don't forget to subscribe. For the latest news about InstaMAT, please visit our website, follow us on X, join us on Discord, or sign up for the Abstract community. You can find all the links in the video description below. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one.